Hi, I'm Terry J. Walker, and right here, this is my superstar, social media sidekick, Mr. Bailey Bob, and we're bringing to you a new show streaming on Mupo Entertainment called the I Am Power Hour, where everyone has a song to sing, a story to tell, and having to follow their passion to have the courage to rise and thrive. Could you be one of our next interviews as we all work together to bring love, light, unity, and connection to one another, and again, to have the courage to rise and thrive? Join me on the I Am Power Hour streaming on Mupo Entertainment.
Let them watch
So we're
this.
going to work on this.
Definitely a good guy. Very sweet.
Back here on the mountain, and Mandy's getting back to her roots.
Roll, Allie. Yakety yak.
Hello, and welcome back to the I Am Power Hour, and boy, do we have some very special guests for you today. One, check him out, Mr. Magnus, but also, I have a very special guest for you today, and you are going to learn a lot today. You don't want to miss this show, because life support, holistic health, Miss Lynda LaCoax is here to talk to you about her Bend therapy and also a lot of other holistic opportunities for you to learn at no charge. This is your day, and I want you to stay tuned for the I Am Power Hour when I get back with me, Mr. Magnus, that's right, and Lynda LaCoax. So you don't want to miss the show. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back. Magnus.
Well, because he's obviously the most important one here. Magnus the Finch. So I rescue and rehab birds on the side. I'm not a certified rehabber, but I know enough to keep something alive. Magnus came to me from a client, and I raised him, and unlike the literal hundreds of other birds I have raised, he has just decided to not leave. So now he goes to the office with me every day and rides in the car with me, and yeah.
Now let's get right into it, because our audience is waiting to hear what you've got in store to help educate them. Tell us where you're from, because I found you here in the mountains of Tennessee, but I know that's not where you're from. But tell us a little bit about your background, what some of your certifications are, and what you're doing to help people to improve their ways of being, thinking, and doing.
Of course. Well, I'm a certified holistic health coach and a personal trainer. I'm educated through the Institute for Integrative Nutrition in New York City. I was born in New York, raised in Florida, got here by way of family, and it's a beautiful area of the United States. Lots of hiking, lots of camping, lots of beautiful outdoor stuff, birds. Yeah, lots of birds. They follow you home, literally. But I opened my business, Life Support Holistic Health. This year will be 9 years that I've been in business. Yeah. So holistic health coaching, which is my primary thing that I do, is looking at the body through a holistic lens. So what that really means is instead of looking at the body in pieces, it's the understanding that everything that you do affects everything else. So just because you're gaining weight doesn't necessarily mean you have a food problem. You could have a communication problem, but the easiest way to not communicate is to eat. So, it can be something that's that simple. Your doctor is not going to pick up on that. Your personal trainer is not going to pick up on that. A nutritionist is not going to pick up on that. Neither is a psychiatrist. because they're all looking at your body in these little compartmentalized boxes.
Right.
And that's not what your body is. That's not what your life is. That's not what it ever has been. You can have a stress problem that's causing your gastrointestinal issues. That's because you have a job that you just can't stand.
Exactly.
Okay, it takes someone who looks at all those pieces together to unlock that kind of a puzzle. And so that's where my passion for holistic health coaching came in, is I was doing personal training and watching people shoot themselves in the foot as soon as they walked up. Emotion code and body code basically operate under the fact that, you have a measurable energy field that surrounds your body. Some people call it the aura, some people call it chi, whatever, it's prana, whatever it is you want to call it. It is the energy of life that surrounds your body. There is plenty of scientific evidence going all the way back to the 50s and 60s about the measurable energy field that is put off by just the heart. Each organ has its own set of frequencies that they vibrate at, and that's because your cells, if you go all the way down to the smallest particle of what they're made of, it's atoms.
Mm-hmm.
Atoms are made of energy. They're 99.9% empty space. So whatever resonance they're vibrating at is going to affect the overall energy field of your entire body. It's very, very basic science. Okay, if you have, 2 metronomes, they're going to sync up. That's, it's a thing. You are going to resonate with whatever is around you and whatever you put off, and you will absorb it. And
Exactly.
the more that you do that with things that are negative, the more it's going to start to impact your body on a physical level. You're basically having the physical manifestation of an emotional issue.
Yes.
Things like people who are angry all the time, having a liver issue, people dealing with grief, having breathing issues, dealing with heartache, literally having a heart problem, dealing with fear that affects the bladder and the kidneys. Anything having to do with stress and anxiety affects the intestines. The correlation between depression and constipation is like 89%, because
Wow.
if you can't let go,
Yeah, you
then
can't let go.
You can't let go.
That's exactly right.
And that is how that works.
Yeah.
Your body is impacted by every single chemical compound that you put out to produce certain emotions. And
Right.
whether you want to look at that on a bioresonance level of energy and vibration, or just a physical level of those chemical compounds pushed out by your adrenals. But if all you're doing is masking symptoms for your entire life, what is the point of living to 90 years old if your quality of life is not there?
Yeah.
So, looking at how to keep your body healthy overall is a very, very key component to making sure that when you do live that long, that you actually have quality of life along with longevity.
Welcome back to the I Am Power Hour. Magnus took a little move. He's resting on my knee right now. But welcome back to the I Am Power Hour with Lynda, with life support, holistic health. And Lynda, tell us how our audience can get in touch with you and find out more about what you have to offer.
Sure. My website is Life Support, spelled just like it sounds, HH, which stands for holistichealth.com. So just Life Support, HH.com. You can book on the website. There are certain appointments that I can do, via Skype or Zoom if you like. There are some that I can do that way. And there's, even personal training and things like that I can do remotely as well.
Oh, that is perfect. And before we took a break a while ago, you were going to tell us a little bit in the audience what you have done to figure some things out and maybe give them a few tips, tricks, and tools of the trade.
All right, well, I grew up being an athlete, and so, food obviously is your fuel, and that is something that is extremely apparent when you are burning a stupid amount of calories because you're working out like 4.5 to 5 hours a day. Don't do that. It's not fun. Don't do that. But unless you have some kind of crazy goal, don't do that. But with food being your fuel, it's something that's very apparent, and in the athletic world, people look at food very, very differently than most people do on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people look at food as a convenience.
Yeah.
It has to be convenient, it has to be fast, if you can't microwave it, if it's not already pre-cooked, prefab, pre-made. And the problem this has created is that we're not eating food anymore, we're eating food like products.
Yeah.
That's a problem. okay? Because your body wasn't designed to digest chemicals.
No.
So what happens with that is if your fuel is subpar, your car does not run correctly.
Exactly.
So, you know, you have to make sure that you're actually maintaining your body with what it was designed to digest. One of the main things that I tell my clients all the time, as far as like the broad strokes go, very, very easy thing that I figured out early on. You eat meat, vegetables, fruit, water, coffee without garbage in it, and I do mean coffee, not dessert. And green tea that you brew yourself. You would not believe how many people I've never, oh, I love coffee. And I'm like, what did you get? They're like, double mocha macchiato. And I'm like,
and a double scoop of whipped cream.
that's 63 grams of sugar in a cup. Can you just stop? You know, you're eating dessert. That's not coffee.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
You know, espresso, milk. We're done here. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, traditionalist. But you know, if you can stick to those 6 categories, what you're eliminating in doing that is preservatives, chemicals, artificial colors, artificial flavors. A lot of times if you go the extra mile and you do those categories and you do them all organic, now you're eliminating all of the things that are pumped into our food system. More than 70% of the antibiotic industry in this country is used in our food system. It's used in livestock, it's used in cattle, it's used in poultry, and that's because they're raised in such poor conditions that in order to keep them alive, they have to be pumped full of antibiotics all the time.
Yes.
That trickles down to you, and it affects your gut microbiome, it affects your gut bacteria. Antibiotics kill bacteria. And when you are constantly microdosing yourself with that through chicken, beef, pork, eggs, milk, all of those things, you're affecting your body's ability to function properly.
Yes.
Because your immune system has controlling interest in literally every function that you have going on inside this, everything.
Yes.
You actually create more serotonin and dopamine for your brain in your gut than you even have in your brain right now. So if this doesn't work, this does not work at all. It is absolutely true.
You know, and I've said many times, healthy gut equals a healthy life.
Yes.
And
it
usually
does.
that's what I say a lot of times, and I've had to learn that hard way myself. And so with that being said, what are some things that people can do, or give them a couple of tips that they could take away from this show today and start beginning to do?
Well, the basics, you know, very first one I said, meat, vegetables, fruit, water, coffee without crap in it, and green tea that you brew yourself. Those 6 categories, that's where you live. You do that organic for 14 days, you will be a different person. Your brain will function at a higher level. Your gastrointestinal system is going to start to fix itself. You're going to be healthier. You're going to think clearly. You're going to breathe better. You're going to sleep better. Your anxiety and stress levels will be lower just because everything is functioning optimally. Now, on top of that, when you wake up in the morning, 20 ounces room temperature water, first thing that touches your lips.
Yes.
Absolutely nothing else but that. After that, a little more leeway. I like my coffee too.
Well, and I do that every
but
morning. I drink 20 ounces. I have
temp water.
a bottle of water sitting out beside my sink
Yep.
that is room temp that I drink first thing while my coffee's brewing.
Yep.
And when I first started this, because I wasn't a water fan, you know, I really wasn't. But when I first started this, I was like, oh, I just don't know if I can do this. I just don't know if I can do this. But I pushed through, and now I know when I don't do it. You know, and I do this every single day.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll tell clients who have issues drinking water to attach it to something.
Yeah.
I was not personally a fan of drinking a ton of water, but I attached it to coffee. Why? Because I love coffee.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to have coffee, I have to fill up that cup with water first.
Yes.
And that has to be gone. So what happens is you drink all your water and you end up drinking half the coffee.
Well,
so,
you know,
it balances out.
And for many of us with coffee, we drink, it has a lot of caffeine in it. I drink, unless we get decaf, and I drink half calf. You know, but that actually constricts us and dries us out. Caffeine does that and makes us go potty more, and so we're losing that fluid, and the water is the main thing that helps to replenish that, to keep us more pumped up with our skin and with our firmness and all of those, and our cells, obviously. And so these are some things that this is a great tip. Room temp water first thing in the morning before you even let the coffee touch your lips.
Yep. Very first thing you do. There's several other things, but I mean, as far as changing your food, I mean, start with breakfast. You did not get to where you are overnight. You did not start eating McDonald's every day from birth, okay? Like it's something that you gradually fell into, typically because of convenience. It's on your way to work, it's on your way home from work, it's an easy thing to grab, whatever it is that you're using as that convenient go-to. No one makes changes overnight, okay?
Right.
So give yourself some grace,
Yes.
okay? Just understand that if you're going to go back and try to do these things in a healthy way, start with breakfast. Work on breakfast for a full month.
Yeah.
Okay, and after you've got breakfast down, like a well-oiled machine, usually what I will have most people do is work on dinner. Because if you can make enough dinner to last till lunch the next day, you've just fixed 2 problems.
Yes.
So most people, it's more beneficial for them to work on dinner than it is to work on lunch. Learn the art of the 1-pan meal. Oh my goodness, it'll change your life. Go online and Google 1-pan organic meals. It will blow your mind.
Yes.
Okay, the amount of things that you can roll in seasoning and throw on a cookie sheet and cook at 350 for 25 minutes is pretty cool. So
I know those things.
Yeah.
And especially, if you've only got maybe one other person in the house, or it's just you, and then I make enough that I have for lunch or dinner the next night.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one less meal I have to cook. And it just works out beautifully, and you've eaten clean, you feel better about yourself, and you've got more energy. And again, what you even discussed early on is we are all composed of energy. Everything, this wall is composed of energy. Everything is composed of energy, and how we take care of it and grow our energy is how we're going to grow into our greatest, truest, highest, and best self.
That's
but
true.
we've got to take care of ourselves.
Yes.
We've got to start with what we are putting in our body and what we are taking in our mind. Whether we're watching the news and derogatory, negative, angry types things, or are we listening to positive shows such as the I Am Power Hour and learning new things? Or are we listening to positive podcasts? What are we doing to grow ourselves? Watching funny movies with our families, having a good time and finding some joy in life.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then the things that we are taking in as digestive that we're eating. So we want to make sure that we're taking in good things into our mind and our emotional and mentality, but also couple that with, positive nutrition and things like that.
Yeah,
Just like you're saying.
Good fuel is so
It's
important.
key.
And, I have, there are different methodologies that I use to kind of get more into the granular detail of how a particular individual should eat. Because every body is different. Every single one, bar none.
Yes.
And so, if you do want to get more into that granular detail, there are several different types of tests that I have in my office that can be used. Probably my most common appointment type is a zytoscan. A zytoscan is basically a scan of the nervous system. It scans, your brain talks to your body because of electricity.
Right.
Okay, electrical signals go back and forth between the synapses in your brain. It travels down the brainstem through the spinal column, radiates out to your body via your nervous system.
Yes.
Because testing is amazing. I can see kind of like the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
And to get further testing from the medical field is always beneficial. I'm never against testing. Testing is great. Please, for the love of God, get a physical once a year. Please. Physical once a year, because you don't know how your health is if you've never bothered to look. The whole, he was healthy as a horse. We have no idea why he died. No, he wasn't healthy as a horse. He just never went to the doctor. Get a physical once a year.
Yes, please.
Okay?
Yes, please.
All right. You got to have a baseline.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we kind of use the bioresonance and the zytoscanner to see where you're at. And then I have several other pieces of tech in my office. I can also do personal training if that's warranted. I do cooking classes if that's something you want me to do with you. But I have a Rife machine, which is a frequency-based healing device. I also have a multi-wave oscillator, which is another frequency-based healing device that was in part designed by Tesla. Not the car Tesla, like Nikolai Tesla. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've had a lot of people ask me that question. They're like, really, the car manufacturer? No.
The one prior to that.
Way older.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, a lot of the cooking classes, those are always fun because what I do is that is a 3-hour appointment. I start at the grocery store with you. You pick 3 things you want to prep cook. I'm going to take you through the grocery store, show you how to go through that minefield without losing it. And then we're going to go to your house and I'm going to show you how to cook in your kitchen with your stuff and your containers and your pots and pans, because it does me no good to teach you how to cook in a sterile environment with all kinds of equipment you don't have.
Amen, amen.
Yeah.
What a
So
great thing.
it's got to be realistic.
Give us your website again.
Sure. It is lifesupporthh.com.
Lifesupporthh.com. You stay tuned, because Lynda's going to show us some other real tricks of the trade. And so we will be right back with the I Am Power Hour in just a few minutes.
So a multi-wave oscillator designed by a scientist named LaCoax, what it does is it generates an electromagnetic field around the body, because every single cell in your body carries an electrical charge. The higher the charge at the cell, the more powerful and the more efficient it is at its job. So the very basics of this is kind of like a frequency-based multivitamin. So this is a Rife machine. A Rife machine originally designed by Raymond Rife. This is not a new device. It is actually a very, very old one. So is the multi-wave oscillator. That used to be popular equipment in hospitals in the 1920s. If you want to find out some really interesting history on the FDA, you should look that up. But anyway, so Rife machine. Every cell in your body, every bacteria, every fungi, every individual microbe, every cell that is screaming for attention because it needs help, because there's a problem, all of those things resonate at a particular frequency. What Rife does is it takes and amplifies that frequency to the body. As you can see, I've got a ton of different presets in here, okay, and these are all the documented frequencies to either combat or help promote healing for that particular issue, okay? So what I can do is, when I have someone who's dealing with fibromyalgia, I can go ahead and put on the settings for that, and I can choose up to 5 options. Usually I will use inflammation, just because most people are dealing with low-level inflammation, but because it's fibromyalgia and that is nerve-related, I can also use nerves healing, nerve disorders and neuropathy, because that's going to coincide with that. And so I would pick a spectrum of frequencies to help them with their problem, and I set a time for each one, and choose how long I want those to go, and that's how long their program is. You sit in the lovely anti-gravity chair if you like. You do have the option of enjoying Therapy Bird, if you will. There are 2 options. The smaller model is a little angrier, but they're both available. So, and I can connect you to this using different leads, okay, that, they kind of look like TENS unit pads. I also have a magnet coil. I can use a magnet coil is a coil that generates an electromagnetic field around it that penetrates the body. So I can plug this in and it will pour that frequency down into your body. I also have a biophoton pad, which kind of does the same thing but with light. You can use noise canceling headphones and actually play the frequency to the body, because your body can actually use that. All frequency is vibration. Vibration is sound. That's it. So, there's multiple different methods that I can use, but I can have up to 18 points of contact on your body at one time. Most Rife machines stop at 4. So with most Rife machines, you're going to be sitting in a chair like this for about anywhere between 2.5 to 3 hours per treatment. Most people's treatment for this particular Rife machine runs anywhere from 20 minutes up to 45. Typically, I don't go over that, really just because it's not necessary. But the main trifecta that I have seen help people the most is you have the multi-wave oscillator, which juices up your cells and makes them super strong. You have the Rife machine, which gives them better blueprints and tells them what to do and how to do it. And then you couple that with supplementation by giving them the building material to do that job. And it's incredibly effective. And I think it's because it's an all points bulletin of looking at everything, not just take this pill, tell your body to shut up with those symptoms. It's actually delving into the root cause of the problem so we can cause some real tangible change. So the Zyto scanner is probably the most popular appointment I have in my office. A Zyto scan is a scan of the nervous system. So essentially what a Zyto scan does is your body has, well, first of all, your body communicates via electricity. You have electrical signals that go back and forth between the synapses in your brain. That information travels down the brainstem to the spinal column, and it radiates out to the body via the nervous system. So you have 6 points on your body where you have nerve endings that terminate, that correspond to everywhere. Yes? Did you need something? He has 2 cents to say. What? He forgot his lines. Anyway, so that is your 2 feet, which is why reflexology works, your 2 hands and your 2 ears. So this just takes the most easily accessible point, and you put your hand on the scanner. It sends a low-level electrical pulse into your hand and basically kind of asks your body questions like, what's going on? Does this work? Does that work? Does that not work? And there is also a profile I have in here. I use doTERRA in my office. So the profile I have in here is for doTERRA products. So it matches up the chemical compounds in the essential oils or the supplements to tell me which ones are most going to benefit your body chemistry. So, you know, the way I use this machine is like if I have someone who comes to me for pain, there's like 57 different things that I could use for pain. If I want to know what's going to work for your pain, I'm going to give you a scan first. If you have an issue that you can't really identify the root cause of and we want a little bit more clarity on it, you know, I can use the scanner. Now, granted, I can't diagnose, but I can at least point you in the right direction. Not a doctor, so I don't get medically involved with a lot of this stuff, but, you know, you can see like which organs are under the most stress and which ones are trying to hog up the most resources, which ones need, you know, the most coddling at the moment. And based on that, you can tailor your supplementation, your diet, your day-to-day activities to those things to help your body better. Technically, all you ever feel is serotonin and dopamine. So this does look at emotional issues as well as physical ones. And it's accurate. It's real accurate. I've had people break down in tears in this office. I've had people get offended, get up and leave, and then come back 2 hours later and be like, I'm really sorry, I so needed to hear that. So it's, you know, you can say what it is that you want, but your body does not lie. It does not know how. So this kind of really super duper gets into your sock drawer and makes you look at things from a different perspective, whether you want to or not. Right, so this is a sunlight and solo sauna. In this sauna, you have heaters in 3 places. There's a set of heaters in this chamber, and also when you're laying down, there's a set of heaters in the pad below you as well. So you're getting heat all around from all sides, and I can control all of those. So if I have someone who's having, let's say, you know, problems with arthritis in their knees, and they don't really have any issues going on with the upper body, I can make it so that the bottom chamber is hotter than the top, so that they get the highest dose of infrared heat to the bottom.
Welcome back to the I Am Power Hour, and I am here with Lynda. and she's going to show us some of the things that she's created, and actually you are the founder of, correct?
Yes, I founded Bend Class,
Bend Class.
the Bend Class, because I'm super creative with names. I was asked if I could teach a yoga class, and I'm not a certified yoga instructor, but I told them, I can put together a pretty amazing stretch class because I've been doing ballet since I was 4, and gymnastics started shortly thereafter, and it's a big part of my life. And so I started teaching this class and trademarked it a couple years later because it became a very big thing and kind of blew up in my face a little bit.
Right, that's always a good thing.
One of the things that I realized when I started teaching it is that most people don't really know how to stretch properly. Proper stretching is not something that is really taught outside of, being a major athlete or being a dancer, being a gymnast, things of that nature. So I'm going to go over like the biggest faux pas, if you will, that I see almost all the time. And it's very, very bad for the spine, which is why it's something that personally just hurts my soul. But pike stretches, something that's very, very simple. So a pike stretch is where you have your legs straight and you reach down towards your feet. What a pike stretch looks like to most people is this, okay? Now, this whole rounding of the spine here, you see how this is round, is something that you don't want. Whenever you're stretching towards your toes, most people will say that, oh yeah, I'm so flexible I can get my nose to my knees. And it's like, yeah, no, that just means that you're very effective at rolling your body into a ball. Okay, that's gonna show you how to herniate a disc. That's not a good thing, you don't wanna do that. What you want to do is you want to lengthen the spine as much as you can. Go up first and out second. You're trying to lay your torso on the tops of your legs. And by the time you can actually fold in half, your chin and your nose should be at the middle of your shin. Okay? And just in case you don't think that's true, that's where your face should fall. Okay, you should also still be able to see your feet when you do that. Okay, that means you're getting proper elongation in the spine, decompression of the lumbar, you're stretching through the thoracic spine, and you're actually pulling everything up and apart, which helps you with proper posture, which apparently is something that Magnus appreciates. So that's a thing. But that is probably one of the things that I see the most, and even just doing that will help you tremendously. And the reason for that is because your body communicates with your brain via your spinal column. Okay, that's where all of your nerves go back to. That's how they talk to your brain. If you have a kink in this hose somewhere, your brain is trying to talk to your body and it can't. So the more you decompress this, the better your posture is, the better that communication is, and the better everything flows. So that's why that is such an imperative thing to do. When you're holding your stretches, the first 15 to 20 seconds of each stretch is your body fighting you. A little bit after that is your body saying, all right, fine, we're doing this. You really only gain range of motion that you're going to keep if you hit about 45 seconds to a minute or more. So if you are going to stretch when you wake up in the morning, if you want to do a simple pike stretch, hold that stretch for anywhere between 1 to 2 minutes. Really give your body time to relax into it. And key times to stretch are when you wake up in the morning and before you go to bed at night. The first one will actually wake up your body, wake up your brain, and when you go to bed, make those stretches a little longer, because static stretching, especially static stretching with posture, will kickstart your natural serotonin, which kickstarts your natural melatonin, and you will sleep better. So yeah, there you go. That's a little bit about Bend.
Man, that is absolutely fantastic. And this was an excellent class, and you have much, much more. So give us your website once again.
Of course. My website for my main business is lifesupporthh.com. And you can find a little blurb about Bend Class on there. I teach in one of the main studios here in Cookeville. It's a hot yoga studio called A Better Me Yoga. I also do workout classes online as well. So if you want to do personal training with me, I can go ahead and create workout videos that are specifically designed for you and your ailment. So I do have people who have either had injury, surgery, things like that that they're trying to recover from, and finding a personal trainer who can tailor a workout to you is not always the easiest thing. So that's something that I do my best to do.
And you can do that online?
Absolutely.
Any special offers for our people?
If you want to go ahead and look at getting my most common appointment, which is the Zytoscan, you can start with that if you're going to come physically into my office. If you put in the coupon code IAMPOWER at checkout, it'll give you a 15% discount. If you are out of state and you want to do just a health coaching consultation, just to, bounce some ideas off me, see where you're at, see if I have anything that can help you remotely, you can use that same coupon code IAMPOWER, no spaces, and it will give you 15% off your online health coaching consultation.
Oh, thank you so much, Lynda. And we've had a great time. And I think Magnus has had a pretty great time too.
Oh, he seems very happy.
Okay. You know what? We are so glad that you showed up today, and I hope you gained a lot from my dear friend Lynda and my little buddy over here, Magnus. And we will see you again the next time on the I Am Power Hour. So y'all come on back now. You hear?